Okay.
Every 2 years, teams of F3F pilots assemble to compete for the coveted Viking trophy and to try and break the current F3F world record of 33.20 seconds. This is a record that has stood for well over a decade, but this year, hopes are running high that at last the record will tumble. As an FAI event, the rules are strict and enforced. Each of the 100 plus aircraft had to be thoroughly checked for compliance and no leeway was given. Although a variety of aircraft were entered, most were production F3B stock, and only a handful of custom-built models were in evidence. As a result, the number of aircraft failing to meet these specifications was low, and all eventually passed inspection. In 1998, interest in F3F has never been greater. So much so that several months before the race was run, the organisers, the South Wales Soaring Association, had to make the hard decision to restrict the number of entries. After much deliberation, the number of pilots was finally set at 70. Yet even so, over 18 countries were still represented, making this a truly pan-European event, as well as the largest F3F event ever run. So what is the perfect recipe for F3F? Take a dedicated, hard-working and well-organised team, add several steep, treeless mountains in excess of 1,000 feet high, and don't forget to make sure that they cater for every wind direction. Add plentiful, grass-covered, flat landing areas, and importantly, offer constant and liberal quantities of wind, and for some variety and interest, add a sprinkling of powerful inland thermals. And, hey presto, you have South Wales. Perfect. South Wales, did you say? You can even have some sheep. A variety of models are flown in the event. Espen can be seen here holding fellow Norwegian competitor Ola Fremming's Compact Wizard. Espen Torp, not being one for strict convention, is flying two different models in the event. Espen's second model is also the Compact Wizard. Espen can be seen here flying the venerable Masterpiece. Although designed in the late 80s, this model is still highly competitive and is a tribute to master designer and builder Helmut Quebec. Espen feels that the smaller Compact Wizard, which only spans 2.5 metres, should be more competitive if light wind conditions prevail. Klaus Kowalski, hailing from Germany, has enjoyed considerable F3F success at all levels, and in addition currently holds the F3F world record, which stands at 33.20 seconds. His enthusiasm for F3F is so intense that along with his brother Peter, they developed a series of moulded F3F races, christened the Spark. The Spark 5, which Klaus is using in this year's Viking Race, is well over 5 years old and has led a less than sheltered life. Despite this moderate dramatic abuse, it still remains a force to be reckoned with. The tight and efficient course that Klaus flies is very much the secret of his success. Inputs are kept to a minimum and speed is maximised. Dave Woods is one of England's most talented and experienced slope racers. Dave's terrain following style is much the crowd pleaser. His low-level antics sometimes cause fear and trepidation amongst the buzzermen, however. Dave has designed and built his own planes, but recently swapped to the commercially available Bwlch Pico and Ellipse 2. Norwegian Fritz Kristoffersen is vastly experienced, and now that he's equipped himself with a Quebec Masterpiece, many competitors are regarding him as a serious threat. Nick Wright, seen here flying his Tragi 700, is a 3 times Viking Race winner, but abstinence from the domestic F3F scene over the last few years means he arrives in Wales as an unknown quantity. Although a variety of planes have been entered into the event, Jarro Muller's Ellipse 2V certainly wins the popularity stakes, with over 30 pilots choosing it as their primary weapon. The Ceto, a somewhat rare English-built moulded model, offers a budget entry into the high-performance world of F3F. Although suffering criticism for being under-finned, it can return competitive times with the right pilot. The Cobra, a craftsmanship example from Stu Blanchard, offers a fine if somewhat visually challenging F3F racer. Designed for F3B, the Cobra has shown to be a powerful contender in F3F. Here we see a demonstration F3F run. To begin, the pilot must launch his plane within 30 seconds of the previous pilot exiting the course. After the launch, another 30-second period is allotted to gain as much height as possible and position the plane outside the course. Most pilots will time the dive into the course with only a few seconds left to run. If they are late entering the course, the clock will start regardless. The pilot then attempts to guide the plane around the 10 legs of the course in the shortest possible time, flying a tight course, maintaining speed and turning as close to the base points as possible to return good results. As you can hear, a buzzer sounds to let the pilot know that he has passed the base on each leg. It's truly a matter of fine timing to obtain the really fast runs in F3F. But don't turn too soon and miss that buzzer. That's called a cut. Miss that buzzer and the pilot must return to the base. Have the buzzer sound and then proceed on. As you can imagine, this is a somewhat time-consuming exercise. If the pilot allows the plane to drift back beyond the base marker for any reason, a 100 points penalty will be given. A loud air horn sounds to alert the pilot to his error, as Pierre Rondel demonstrates in this flight sequence. After completion of the course, the pilot must clear the course area and proceed to land as quickly as possible. A successful event starts with a clear understanding of actions and responsibility. Every morning begins with an indoor pilot's briefing led by top competition director Ian Rose. Safety, weather issues and other matters arising are all discussed. The pilots then get to stir their competitive juices with the daily race to get the best parking spaces at the slope. McCurdy, Woods and Frawley were always key contenders for that prize, parking attendance notwithstanding. Although the UK and Wales can be known for their inclement weather, it seems that suitable sacrifices must have been made to the gods, as the first day's weather was near perfect. Viking Race 1998 was being blessed by a strong northeast breeze, gusting to 25 knots and blowing square onto the face of the 1,000 feet high slope known as the Wrecker. Jesper Jensen from Denmark is one of the many younger pilots starting to make an impact at top level within F3F. He performed well in Iceland in '96 and his smooth flying in this round has put him in the contention for the top spot. Here we see Trond Olsen from Norway. Trond is fairly new to the sport in competition scene, and we see here that he's flying a Spark 5 for the Norway 2 team. Certainly his countrymen hold him in high regard, and in this round he immediately stamps his authority on the Viking Race in '98 by accurately using good lift to get the top flight in this round. Here we see a very entertaining flight from the very talented John McCurdy. John is a great natural pilot, capable of flying as fast as anyone. Perhaps the plane is just set up a little bit too sensitive and he's trying a little hard, and it shows his great natural talent in avoiding the landscape in this run. He did, however, manage a blistering 37.85 seconds. Here we see Dave Woods. Dave is an experienced F3F slope racer and this year is flying his V Ultra Pico. Dave is part of an international team along with Richard Frawley from Australia and John Phillips of the UK. In this round, he makes the absolute best of the available lift and uses the tight turning Pico's ability to take the early lead in this round. Trond Olsen has developed a very smooth and efficient technique. This technique certainly pays off, and he snatches the lead in round 2 from Dave Woods with a 37.47. Klaus Kowalski is always a threat, and it's easy to see why. In this round he flies an almost perfect run to post a 33.20 with his Spark 5. This flight equals his own previous F3F world record, and this easily gives him the top spot in round 2. Brits Christopherson reinforces its 3rd place in round 1 with a beautifully flown flight of 35.41 seconds. This excellent flight moves him up to 2nd place in round 2. Kevin Newton has been flying competitive F3F for only a couple of years, but has rapidly captured top positions in the UK League. His flight of 35.89, his personal best to date, has earned him 3rd place in this round. Excellent flights of sub 40 seconds by his Welsh teammates Keith Nichols and Pete Rundle have helped put Wales 1 into a top position.
Okay.
Espen Torp uses his masterpiece to carefully manage the energy of the slope lift and keeps his plane travelling at high speed when lesser pilots have been turning too hard and slowing down their planes. His 38.46 was certainly good enough for 9th in this round, and combined with his teammate Fritz Christopherson's excellent 2nd place, Norway 1 is certainly in the running for the team placing. Here we see Stuart Naylor of the UK. Stuart is flying in a team of UK F3B pilots with Nick Wright and Steve Mackin. Despite his aggressive style, the less than perfect lift and the dated performance of the Calypso contest means that his 48.27 is only good enough for 27th in this round. Espen Torp shows once again that he's the master of momentum and makes the best of the lift available, showing this time a run of 41.72, which is good enough to take him to 4th in this round. Smooth and accurate flying take Jesper Jensen to 3rd in this round, and 4th overall. An excellent result from a young pilot under competitive pressure. Dave Woods pushes his Pico hard and always flies low and close to the ground to try and maximise the available lift. This time, however, he pushes it too hard. The lighter lift in this round also demonstrated that the Compact Wizard was indeed a competitive ship, with a win by Ola Fremming. Trond was down 2 seconds from the fastest pilot, Fritz Christoffersen, and he fell to 2nd place. Jan Hansen scooped 2nd place with a 40.43, but a poor showing in round 1 meant that he was no threat to the leaders. Jan Hansen puts in another solid run with his ellipse, proving good enough for 7th place in this round. This superb run in reasonable lift gives Kev Newton 2nd place in this round. Other than a poor first round flight in slow air, Kevin has posted some good times, and maybe he will be one to watch when the worst score discard kicks in after round 6. In this round, John uses his normal aggressive style to get him 6th place. Earlier on in the round, John's teammate Richard Frawley posted a personal best of 36.15 with his masterpiece. So if their third member, Dave Woods, can post a sub 40, it would significantly boost their overall position. In this round, the Jesper Jensen flies a 36.13. It's another very smooth flight from Jesper, and this time the reward is 3rd place. And with that, a further step up in the overall scoreboard. After the unfortunate incident from Dave pulling too much ground stick in the last round, he has now switched to his backup model, and some more conservative and smooth flying gets him a 38.42, an excellent run in this round. A highlight from this round, and unfortunately not caught on film, was the flight from Simon Thornton, who posts a new world record of 33.17 seconds, and that run also takes him into the overall lead. Fritz is knocked to 3rd, but Trond is still running a very respectable 2nd place. Simon Thornton in round 5 must be very disappointed with this run. He only manages a 43.55 after an unfortunate cut. Perhaps the tension and trying too hard at a blade, and so he drops his overall lead down to 2nd place. After one or two preceding pilots fail to make the best use of the incredible air, Fritz Christoffersen makes no such mistake. His new world record run of 33.04 seconds also pushes him into 1st place overall. This run also demonstrates that the masterpiece is still a very competitive platform. It seems as if John McCurdy now knows the importance of sellotape. An otherwise good run is spoilt by a moment's lapse of concentration. Brian Dillman, flying for Denmark 1, crosses the safety line and earns himself a 100-point penalty. John Phillips can be seen here secretly testing the response time of his new servos. A nightmare round for Stuart Naylor leads most to believe his Calypso contest has CG problems. Whatever the reason, Stuart won't be showing this run to his grandchildren. Ola Fremming again flies a good smooth course, but like Brian Dillman, he also oversteps the safety line at base B. The 100-point penalty will certainly take Ola right off the pace. Round 5 sees Fritz Christoffersen in first place, followed by Gerhard Flicksider second and Kurt Planitzer a good third. John McCurdy gets third in round 6 with this excellent 37.87. He certainly anticipates the turn well, and John responded in his best way to the previous round's misfortune. England A teammate wins the round with a 35.78, giving their team a timely boost. Oops, and there goes the nose cone. Austrian Hermann Haas has flown smoothly throughout the event. Unfortunately, he has missed the thermal assistance enjoyed by some other pilots. He shows good technique in this round and is rewarded with a 41.42, a good flight, but stiff competition relegates him to only 17th place. Bodvar Gudmundsson, one of the few Tragi pilots, starts to show the potential of this very capable aeroplane and flies a 38.54 in moderate air. Inaki Elizondo from Spain is the very capable designer and builder of the Tempest, a popular model flown by both the Spanish and French teams. After those initial problems getting used to the strong lift here in Wales, Inaki now seems to be getting things together and flies a respectable time of 44.55 seconds in round 6. Raffin Thorensen, having travelled from the frozen wastes of Iceland, is also an avid Tragi supporter. His faith is well rewarded in this round with a second placing and a 37.73 flight time. Round 6 shows another leadership change, with Simon Thornton moving back into the lead. Fritz Christofferson drops to second and Kevin Newton places in a respectable third. Jan Hansen climbs to fourth with Jared Flixider in fifth place. Round 7 and another fast run from Brian Dillman. This reinforces his top 10th spot overall and certainly helps Denmark 1 in the battle for top team honours. Keith Nichols from the UK obtains a personal best of 36.07 seconds, a very respectable time which would have earned him first place in this round but for the thermal assisted run by rival Frenchman Didier Lano, who scored a very fast 34.27 seconds. Mr. Consistent, Jesper Jensen, yet again breaks the 40-second barrier with a 39.13 and in the process puts himself and his Denmark 1 teammates in a very strong position. After several rounds of very indifferent air, John Bennett from the UK is at last able to demonstrate his very accurate and very smooth style in what is reasonable air. He gets a 37.6, a great boost for the England A team. At the end of round 7, the battle of the Titans continues and a place change again takes place. Brits had knocked Simon Thornton back to second, Kev Newton in third, Gerard in fourth and Jan in fifth. Although Espen Torp's smooth style never falters, on this occasion he does run foul of some drift and incurs a 100 points penalty, an error which costs him dearly in overall placement. As the lift comes and goes, Klaus Kowalski shows some clever thinking and initiative and breaks from convention by heading towards base B to gain height prior to entering the course. After his 36.15 in round 4, Richard is clearly frustrated by the slow air and tries desperately not to cover more ground than he has to. Lying in third place overall at this point in the event, Kev Newton tries to make the absolute most of the lift and unfortunately cuts. Using one of the more aggressive recovery techniques, he's quickly back on track. Despite the unfortunate cut, Kev Newton jumps to second place overall. Jan Hansen climbs to third and Simon Thornton is knocked back to fourth place. Fritz Christoffersen keeps his narrow lead in first place overall. Round 9 shows yet another blistering run from Mr. Consistent Dane Jesper Jensen, who seems to thrive on the pressure of this event. This run, although one of the fastest ever recorded at 33.1 seconds, amazingly only nets him second place. It is, however, good enough to elevate him to second place overall and put Denmark 1 in a nearly unassailable position. This run by John Bennett could be called the killer cut. This 3-second recovery loop cost John not only top place in this round, but also loss of the world record. A faultless run of 34.94 gets Nick Wright a new personal best, but incredibly he only gets 5th place in this round. In a similar situation, Didier Lano had also clocked a 33.81, only to be left bemused with a 3rd place. The young Danish flyer, Jan Hansen, makes history as the first F3F pilot to fly below 33 seconds in a faultless 32.97 seconds run. Enjoy the new world record, Jan. You deserve it. Up until now, it had not been a memorable event for the Scottish team, but at last some decent lift was handed their way. Ron Russell can be seen making the most of the lift to clock a very respectable 36.89 seconds. In this round, John McCurdy takes up the gauntlet laid down by the Danes, and along with John Bennett and his amazing 34.80 killer cut, they keep England A in touch with Denmark 1 and the other front runners, Austria 1. At the end of round 9, Jan Hansen has blasted his way into the top spot. Jesper Jensen maintains his second placing, with Fritz in third, Gerhard fourth, Kevin Newton in fifth. St Simon, unfortunately, has been knocked back into sixth place. This flight from Chris Christopherson could be classified as the near-perfect demonstration flight, as he uses all the energy available to fly a very respectable 38.17 in the modest lift available. Unfortunately for Fritz, a sizzling 35.07 run by Gerhard drops him into fourth place overall at the close of the round. Mark Passingham from the UK is one of the handful of top pilots to design, build and fly his own model. In this round, Mark uses the aptly named Big Stiffy to shaft much of the competition with an excellent 42.21 second run. After the modest and very camera-shy teammate Didier Lenoir had twice smashed the French record, Pierre Rondel clearly felt he had a point to make. He does so most eloquently with this superbly flown 33.24. Also, he wins this round. Here we have John Phillips wrestling with the very sensitive Ceto in what is incredible lift. But unfortunately for the base B buzzerman, the Ceto just wanted to have some rock and roll. Unfortunately for Bernhard Pomberger, electronic gremlins seemed to spoil his day. Ten rounds in 3 days of flying, great organisation, superb conditions, fantastic competition flying made Viking Race 1998 a truly memorable event. This, combined with a new world record by Jan Hansen, smashing the previous 33-second barrier, sets a very high bar for the next Viking Race organisers. F3F is easy? Watch this. Brilliant airmanship. Oh, there's a cut. Kev won't be happy with that. Oh, cut. Oh, no. Oh, look, tagging the crowd. Oh, look. Oh, that was close. Oh, my goodness. Oh, cut, no, Ben. Oh, no, some radical flying. Oh, that's low. Oh, what is that? Oh, look, trying to take the cameraman out. Oh, no, he's... Oh, no, he's gone. That's in. Oh, John. Oh, no, how many loops was that? Oh, he's gone, the baby. Oh, look at the wing. Oh, God. Oh, what was that? Oh, McCurdy, he's going to be disappointed with that. Oh, that's a cut from McCurdy. He's not going to be happy. Oh, that's a penalty. Oh, major cut. Oh, 5 cuts, I think that was. Oh, and that's a cut from Blobby. He's not going to be happy with that.
So Dave Woods and John Phillips, please come forward.